Hey everyone, it's nice to be communicating with you again. So I wanted to post this so that I could give you a virtual tour of the materials for the rest of the semester. What you'll notice on Canvas is that we have just a couple of more modules left to go. So here's the careers one, which is the one we're going to be in for the rest of the semester. You'll no longer see the in-class agendas on here because they don't really apply anymore. Instead of what we were going to do on those days, we are going to return to meeting during class time over the next week. So that's a change in what I explained to you before. But what we're going to do is we're going to meet all together on WebEx. We'll do this during class next week. The next 3 weeks, so the last 3 weeks of class, we'll be meeting at our normal time on WebEx. Next week, you're going to have a Q&A with somebody from the UWW School Psychology Program. They're going to answer all your questions about the program and any questions you have about being a graduate student or applying for graduate school as well. So that'll be a good opportunity for you to get some insight on that. The following week, which is the week, it's going to be 4/29, so a couple of weeks from now, we're going to have a representative, a student from the UWW Counseling Psychology Program, come and speak to you as well. So that'll be really good. They'll be able to do the same thing as the person the week before will do, except for the Counseling Psych Program. The week after that, I was going to have sort of a workshop for your application materials. I've decided that instead of doing that, I'd like you to just contact me individually, and we can set up meetings to talk if you want to about your materials at any given time over the next few weeks until classes end. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to meet synchronously, which means at the same time during our normal class period, one more time that last week of classes, and I'm going to do a Q&A with you. So I'm very knowledgeable about particularly applying for graduate school and what being a graduate student is like. So I'd like to share some of that information with you on our last week of classes, and we can do that all together as a group synchronously during our class time as well. So those are the updates. You'll see that the calendar on Canvas has changed to reflect these changes to the course. I'm sorry to, throw you a little bit of a curveball here, but I think that this will be the most useful thing that we can do over the next few weeks. Also, make sure that you're keeping up with the homework assignments. We got a couple more of those left. So make sure you complete. Looks like we got homework 11 this week, and then homework 12 the following week, and that's it for homework. So make sure you don't forget to do those assignments. And then finally, I want to go over these materials from this week with you. It's actually the materials for the rest of the class time that we'll be spending together here. So if you go to the readings and materials, what you'll notice is that on the next page, you have a list of career resources and a list of graduate school resources. Regardless of which path you decide to take, I would like you to peruse all of these just so you know what your options are. It's always possible to change your mind about what you might want to do, so I want you to make sure that you have the resources available to you to be able to do that. And there's a ton of great resources in here. So the ones, I'm not going to look at all of them, even though I encourage you to actually read through all of them. I'm going to highlight the ones that are the most useful here. So this careers in the psych major one is particularly useful. So this is on UWW's website, on their career leadership and development website. And it gives you a bunch of really useful information when it comes to applying for jobs. So first of all, the first thing you see here is a list of skills that you've acquired as part of your education as a psychology major here. And these are all things that you can highlight in a job application or a cover letter. So it's something to know about what you've actually accomplished here and the skills that you have acquired so that you can use them to potentially get a job at some point and put them on your resume. The next thing is really great too. It's a bunch of occupations that UW Whitewater students have obtained after leaving here. And you'll see that there's a wide range of them. This is a really, really not comprehensive, but pretty great list of what psychology majors are doing with their degrees. So I would recommend looking through these, see if anything strikes your fancy. If it does, go ahead and just Google them. Another place to go that's really useful is Glassdoor.com. That is a website where you can look at a lot of statistics and reviews of different jobs, specific jobs, and also careers. So that's another place I'd recommend searching for some of the ones you're interested in this list for. The last thing is also super useful. So these are actual places that UW graduates have worked after they leave here with a psychology degree. And you can see once again, it's a long list. There's all sorts of different things that people have done in all sorts of different places around the country. And you can take a look at some of these companies, Google them, and or search them on Glassdoor to see what the medium salaries are, to see kind of what it's like to do the job, to see what people's reviews are of the jobs, and you can even, if you're going to search for a job and submit your application materials for this project with a job, like with a resume and cover letter, then you can find your job posting here by searching there, these places. Either searching them on Glassdoor or going to another job website like monster.com or something like that as well. There's all sorts of places where you can search for these things. But this is a fantastic resource. It's probably the most useful one that I'll disseminate to you today. So going back to the list of resources here, there's a couple of resources that talk to you about how to complete a job search. So this one from Georgetown is really useful. This one tells you the different types of careers available to psychology majors. This tells you similar information as the Georgetown resource, how to find some of these jobs with an undergraduate degree. Here are some career paths through the U.S. government, which can potentially be lucrative. The Department of Labor as well, oftentimes hire psychologists for various reasons. The next one on here, the next couple actually, are ones that can help you figure out what types of jobs you might be the best fit for you. So there's a couple of online quizzes you can take to get a sense of how your skills and everything might apply to a job going forward. And then the last ones here are just places that you can find Wisconsin jobs. So the Job Center has all jobs Wisconsin in there, ones that also apply to psychologists. And the top one here has government jobs in the state of Wisconsin. So all great resources. Please take a look at them at your leisure. The next set of resources is for the graduate application process, which is quite a challenging process. It's not easy to apply for graduate school, and we'll talk all about that the last week of classes, so I won't go into too much of it here. But this first one here is a video that was created by the UW School Psychology program that's meant to educate you about it. So definitely take a look at this video before we meet together next Wednesday so that you can ask any questions to one of the students who actually created the video, who's going to join us that day for a Q&A session. So please take a look at that one. This next one is a video that was created by one of the faculty here, Dr. Elizabeth Olson, and it's a really good video on how to imagine what to do once you leave graduate school or once you leave school, what sort of next steps there are to applying and all sorts of things like that. There's some resources here from the APA that are useful, the American Psychological Association. This is a really great resource on how to write a personal statement. Personal statements are very difficult to write, so this is one you're definitely going to want to look at, especially if you're writing a personal statement for the project here. The next one is good. I want to show you this one because it has some really good information. So this is a list of things that you should start to do in order to prepare yourself to apply for graduate school. It takes usually about a year, sometimes more than that, to actually get all of the things that you need to apply, because you need to find people to write letters of recommendation, and you have to be able to take your GRE, which is a ton of time. and you might need to take it again if you're not happy with your score, so all sorts of things. This will give you a bunch of resources here on how to prepare for all of those parts of the application process, and also sort of what the timeline is for applying for graduate school. So this is a really good resource for you. All right, and then here's some Q&A about graduate school, and also a blog for graduate students in psychology. All really great things to look at, so go ahead and take a look at those things. I actually expect to be adding some resources to this, so as I get new resources from the different entities that I'm working with here, to try to get you in more information, I will keep you informed in the announcements. Otherwise, those are all the materials for this section. I look forward to seeing all of your faces again next week when we meet during our regular class time. And thanks for listening. We'll talk soon. Bye.